Okay, well, hopefully this is the last equation. I'm just trying to get you a system of 3 equations where the answer is a single point. So I think this one will work. Now as I'm looking at this, I'm going to go ahead and really I could eliminate any of these variables. It doesn't really matter. I kind of like the y's in this case. Really the z's would work well too. I'm just going to try to go something different than before. So let's try the y's here. If I eliminate the y's, my first coefficient, second coefficient here, if I multiply the top one by a -2, I'll get opposites. So let's start with that. So let's take that top equation, multiply by a -2, and let's multiply that to every term. Right, so -2 times 2 is -4x. -2 times 1 is -2. -2 times -3 is +6. And -2 times 0 is 0. Alright. Now the second equation, I don't have to multiply by anything. So -2x plus 2y plus z equals -7. I'm going to add those together. And let's see, the y's drop out, the x's make a -6, the z's make 7, and the constants are -7. Great. Now let's look at the first, I'm sorry, well, I guess it doesn't really matter. Let's look at the second equation and the third equation. Try to get the 2 coefficients on the y again. It has to be the y. I want to keep x and z, but eliminate the y again. So I'm going to multiply this 2 by a 4 to get it to be the, I'm sorry, I'm going to multiply the 2 by a 2 to get 4, so that it's the opposite here. So let's do that. Multiply by 2. So 2 times -2 is -4. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times -7 is -14. Okay. Now the the third equation I don't have to do anything with because I already have my opposite coefficient there. So I end up with 3x minus 4y minus 3z equals 7. I'm going to add those together. Again, the y's drop out. I have a -x. I have, what's that, a -z? And a -7. Cool. So now I have 2 equations, both with 2 variables, and it's the same 2 variables, both x and z. So I'm going to take those off to the side here, create a system. Let's do this. Let's do -6x plus 7z equals -7, and then -x minus 7 equals -7, or -x minus z equals -7. Now again, I want to use elimination and eliminate one of these 2 variables. Doesn't really matter which one. Let's go with the z's here. So if I eliminate the z's, I'm going to multiply the bottom equation by 7, right? So let's do that. Let's multiply this by 7. That gives me -7x minus 7z equals -49. And then let's keep the top equation the same. I'll just move it down to the bottom here. So that's -6x plus 7z equals -7. We're going to add those together. The z's drop out. The x's add up to what's that, 13? And here I get a 56. Look about right? Yeah, looks about right. So then we're going to divide out by a negative 13. And x is going to equal 56 over 13. Now, 56 over 13 does not simplify. Yeah, it stays 56 over 13. Now, that does seem like an odd number. I was expecting a whole number there. Did I make any mistakes? Negative, positive. Just double checking, making sure all my signs worked out. Negative, positive, positive, negative. I don't see anything wrong at the moment. So maybe that's legit. That one multiplying by 7. Okay, multiplying that by nothing. Alright, looks good to me. Let's go with it. So I got 56/13. Now I've got to find the z value. And of course, that's not real easy to work with, but I'm going to back substitute gradually, one step at a time. So 56/13 goes into one of these two equations. I'll obviously pick the bottom one because it's got nicer numbers. Let's go with, let's do this. Let's do negative of that fraction minus z equals negative 7. The fraction I'm putting in is 56/13. If I were to, let's see. Well, let's just add the 56/13 to both sides. We could do that. So add 56/13, add 56/13. Now, how many 13ths is 7? Well, let's see, these drop out. Negative z equals, well, negative 7 is actually, what's 7 times 13? 91? Double check that. 91. So that is negative 91/13 plus 56/13. And negative 91 plus 56 is negative 35. So it's negative 35/13. Of course, I need to get rid of the negative there. So z actually equals 35/13. Okay. So now I have x and z. I use them back, or substitute them back into one of the original 3 equations to get the y value. I'm going to go with the top equation, I think. The numbers are a little smaller up there. So let's do that. Let's do 2 times the x plus y minus 3 times the z equals 0. That's my top equation. The x value is 56/13, and the z value is 35/13. I'm going to do this arithmetic relatively quickly just to get through it. 2 times 56 is 112. On 3 times 35 is 105, right? Yeah, 105, so it's minus 105/13. 112 minus 105 is 7, right? Yeah. So if I combine my terms here, that's 7 over 13 plus y equals 0. Subtract from both sides the 7/13, and you get y equals negative 7/13. So my final answer should be the ordered triple, 56/13, -7/13 and 35/13. And of course, we should always